As a caricature artist, I love the abundance of skills that you can improve on, from color and design to exaggeration and composition. Yet I believe the first skill you can improve on is line work. This will not only make your live caricatures look awesome, but also build your confidence to feel awesome. This is AJ Jensen with the ToonHeadz, welcoming you to another caricature tip video. In this video, I'm here to showcase my secrets for getting better line quality for your caricatures. So here are 6 tips that I have used in the decade of doing live caricatures. So let's dive on in. There is no spoon. First, we need to understand that lines, they really don't exist.
Wait, what?
That's right. Lines are not alive in our reality, yet we use them to creatively portray an idea. Lines are merely abstractions we use to define how light interacts with surfaces, creating the perception of shapes and edges. If anything, lines are essentially exaggerations on how we see shapes. Why is understanding this so important? Because it allows you to not be so confined to what's right in front of you. You get to explore your own representations and creatively express that. This is super beneficial when you're doing caricatures, as you're only drawing an impression of what is in front of you. I tell my ToonHeadz team to only focus drawing 40% of what's in front of them. The other 60% of their focus should be dedicated to their own ideas and interpretations. Concentrating a minimal effort to your reference forces you to rely more on your impression. This helps you become more creative with design and exaggerations. And it's a tough habit to break, but realizing that any line you draw is already just an impression, so lean more into that. Line variation. Having variation of lines in your drawing will make your caricatures look a bit more attractive. Using only one type of line thickness is going to make your drawings look a bit dull. It seems boring, nothing exciting really going on. I like to think every line you use in a drawing should help tell a story. So if a line is just the same throughout the drawing, I almost translate it to someone being, a bit monotone.
Hi, my name is Phil. My favorite food is mashed potatoes. I like collecting straws.
Yet, when you add different lines that are thin and thick, the drawing just has more depth. It becomes more exciting, and the story seems more interesting. Personally, I like to measure my lines all in a range between 1 to 5, and apply that range throughout the entire drawing. Doing this will help you be more attentive to what lines should be thicker and thinner. Using line variation in your caricatures will enhance your concepts and give them a bold impact. Line weight. So earlier, I mentioned that you must be attentive to what line should be thin and thick. Doing this will help you be more attentive to what lines should be thicker and thinner. See? I did say that. So in order to know where to put thicker and thinner lines, you need to understand line weight. Line weight is the technique of adjusting line thickness to convey depth and emphasize lighting on a shape. Thinner lines show where light hits, while thicker lines will show where shadows fall. So using both line weight and line variation together will add more depth and dimension to your caricatures. For the majority of my caricatures, I pretend that my light source is always coming from, the top. So all of my thinner lines will be applied to the top of the features, while the thicker lines will be applied to the bottom of the features. Black bottom jeans with the boots and the fur. Usually, after I'm done with inking a caricature, I'll go back and add heavier lines to the shapes that will receive more shadows. So just pretend each line as reflecting weight. That way, you have varied lines to express dimension.
Tapered lines.
A habit I had to break when I first started doing live caricatures was just suddenly stopping a line. So I noticed once I started following through with each line, it not only made my lines look more confident, but it also created tapered lines. Tapered lines are lines that are thicker in the middle and thin to a point on both ends. So think of each line as having character. Concentrating on each line from going thin to thick, back to thin, will up your ante on how your drawing will look. So when I'm doing tapered lines, I'm also diligent about line weight as well. I'm applying thicker lines to the heavier part of the shape, while thinner lines to the lighter part of the shape. Just remember to follow through with your lines. You never want to just stop your lines abruptly. Follow through. Following through with each line will also prevent your lines looking so shaky. You want your lines to look confident and crisp. Suggestive lines. So this is a little technique that I like to use to suggest how a shape will act. When drawing features, you don't want to outline the entire shape of the feature. It'll look kind of weird. Instead, you should create lines that suggest how a shape behaves. These lines need to be super quick, thin, and also really confident. The great thing about using suggestive lines is that they're really quick. They're not really adding that much time when you're drawing your caricature. And this quick technique adds a subtle value to your drawing with really little effort. The only thing I would stress about suggestive lines is that you must know how to precisely use your marker. Getting super thin lines is probably the hardest thing to accomplish. The only way to get better is knowing your tool to the fullest extent. So practice when you're using that marker. Number 6. Confidence. One of the most important aspects to improve doing live caricatures is, of course, confidence. It takes a lot of guts to draw strangers silly looking. And in my belief, one of the most major things that you can reflect confidence in your artwork is your line work. Having steady, crisp lines in your drawing will not only make your caricatures look awesome, but people will watch your drawing and be mesmerized by your finesse. Yet, how does one become confident? First, practice often. The more you draw, the more you'll improve. It's just science. Improvement breeds confidence. When I first started to draw, I would fill up at least 2 to 3 sketchbooks a month. This was a lot of drawing. But all that work and practice definitely helped me in the long run to do live caricatures. Second, embrace mistakes. Every art error you make is an opportunity to improve your skills. Be observant and honest with yourself on why you made that mistake. Was your line wiggly because you have never drawn at that angle before? Or did your line go outside of where you needed to stop it? Ask yourself these questions, and you need to find the time to practice what you're really not good at. And thirdly, observe your motivations. Is there an artist you admire? Or is there an art style that you really enjoy? Observe it. Ask yourself why you like it and apply it. When I first started, I drew hundreds of caricatures that other artists created. It helped me significantly come up with new ideas and integrate things that I enjoyed. When you apply things that motivate you to draw, it becomes more fun. So thank you for watching this caricature tip video. I hope it will motivate you to practice your line work and also excite you to draw some caricatures. And if you found these tips helpful, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the ToonHeadz for more caricature tips and tutorials. Also, stay tuned for part 2 of this series where I'll give you caricature secrets and exercises to help improve your line work. Or, if you're completely motivated to learn more about how to improve your line work, just go ahead and click this video right here and watch part 2. Only if you're motivated though. Motivated people will only click this video here, or folks that like ice cream. If you like ice cream, go ahead and click here. Did you click it?